Hey guys, how's it going? So I have been tagged by Curtis at Curtis Books and Films for the Get to Know Me tag. So this tag is 7 questions just to get to know people a bit better, get to know their tastes a bit better, and just learn about them a bit more. I'll link Curtis's video below. I kind of assume everyone who's watching who would watch this is probably subscribed to his channel because I didn't really start getting more subscribers until he started to he and I started to communicate. But yeah, he's great. He talks about both books and films. He reads some interesting books, watches some interesting films. He's a really smart guy. So yeah, if you haven't, go check out his channel. The tag was created by James at Plots and Points, who's a new channel for me, but I watched his original video for this tag, and I haven't had time to watch any other videos, but they look really interesting, and you should go check him out too. I'll leave a link to his video as well. So, the first question here is, what do you want to tell us about yourself? So, my name is Lukash. I just want to clear that up. It's pronounced Lukash. It's not spelled like it is in my channel name. We have a crazy cat. It's not spelled like it is in my channel name. It's spelled Lukas. There's a story behind the spelling in my channel name, which I won't get into here. Maybe eventually I will, but if I tell you now, you'll all think I'm a crazy person. It's a Czech name. My dad's from the Czech Republic. So my older brother and I both have Czech names. So yeah, some more interesting stuff. Goodness. I am 23 years old. I am in a master's program for general experimental psychology. I'm not going to be a therapist. I'm going to be a researcher and teacher. I study social psychology. I want to go on and get a PhD and study political psychology, which looks at kind of personality variables and social variables that affect people's voting habits, their political orientation, kind of just their perceptions of the fairness of the political system and things like that. So that's my career interest. Hoping to be a professor and a researcher someday. Another thing, I am probably the only booktuber who was a former figure skater. I skated from the age of 6 until I was about 21. I basically just stopped because my schedule got too hectic with school, and now where I live in Illinois, the closest rink is 2 hours away. So yeah, but hopefully someday I will take that back up. So yeah, that's a little info about me. Next question is, who is your favorite author? And for this, I'm going to go with Marilynne Robinson. He's only published 4 novels, but in my opinion, they're all masterpieces. So, and they've all moved me. They've all given me things to think about. You know, they have taught me more about religion than any nonfiction book I've ever read. So, yeah, and her nonfiction, I've only read one of her nonfiction books, but I want to read all of it. And it is also just so full of insights and information that it seems like only she knows. Well, not really, but anyway, she's just so smart. She's so interesting. She's also just an interesting person, in my opinion. Yeah, if you haven't read her, I recommend her. Question 3 is, what is your favorite movie? This is a hard one, which I think everyone says about this. But I am going to go with one that I crazily enough only just saw a few weeks ago, and that is Blade Runner. It's nuts that I only just saw this movie for the first time because I'm a longtime science fiction and fantasy fan. But I mean, and of course I'd heard of it, a lot about it, and it did not disappoint. That movie is just beautiful and fascinating. You know, a soundtrack, the way that the soundtrack goes along with the movie so perfectly is just nuts. I loved that. I mean, there obviously the movie is amazing in many ways, but that was what kind of came out and smacked me on the head as something that was incredible. I love that. I would totally skate to that soundtrack if I were still skating, and maybe I will someday. I hope someday I can pick up my skates again and go skating, and maybe my comeback program will be to Blade Runner. I don't know. But yeah, for now at least, Blade Runner. What is your favorite TV show? Definitely, hands down, BoJack Horseman. It's so hilarious and so depressing. And somehow those two feelings exist simultaneously, which is remarkable. And it is just a really fascinating just exploration of how people search for happiness and self-love, and often fail to find it because we're not very good at finding self-love or happiness. And I think it ultimately even questions whether lasting happiness is really a thing that is achievable. So I just love that show. I've watched it many times, too many times. It's a little bit crazy, but yeah. I should qualify that with that I don't watch that much TV, so it's not like my experience of it is very wide. But for now, that is my favorite. So question 6, what is your favorite sport? You can probably guess, it's figure skating. I still try to watch the top 5 to top 10 at the World Championships, in all disciplines except for pairs, which I don't really care for. Pairs, for anyone who doesn't know, is where like the man kind of tosses the woman up in a big jump and things like that, and they do pair spins. But I love ice dance, I love men's, I love ladies. There's really some great skating going on right now, and some not so good skating, but ice dancing right now is in a really good place. I love the ice dancing couples that are competing right now. But yeah, definitely figure skating. Hockey would be second. My brother was a hockey player, and I really enjoy watching hockey, although I don't watch it that often, but I watch it at the Olympics sometimes. Number 7, final question is share your super secret ultimate guilty pleasure of anything. Oh shoot, I skipped a question. I skipped my musical tastes. I'm sorry. Okay, back to question 5. Sorry. What are my musical tastes? My musical tastes, they are kind of weird and varied. I listen to a few post-rock bands, like Explosions in the Sky, Doi, whose album Sing the Boy Electric is named after the Walt Whitman poem Sing the Body Electric, which is incredible for a book lover. There's Silver Mount Zion, Sigur Rós, Anatomy of the Bear. Yeah, I really like post-rock. And then I listen to some indie rock. I really love Modest Mouse, who I know are like the most generic indie rock choice you could pick, but I really like them. I listen to The Heartless Bastards, Snowmine, Elder Brother. Yeah, and then there's this other newer artist called Vancouver Sleep Clinic, who I'm not sure what genre you would call him, but it's really good music. I really love him. I can't wait for him to release more. And then I also listen to some older music. I love B.B. King, the great blues singer. I like Janis Joplin. I went through a huge Pink Floyd phase when I was in my late teens. And I still listen to them on and off. I love there's some classical I really like. Mozart's Requiem in D minor is one of my favorite just pieces of art in any medium ever. So yeah, I also like Bedřich Smetana, the great Czech composer. I of course love Beethoven. I listen to some Chopin and Rachmaninoff, especially his second piano concerto. I also love soundtracks, like I just raved about the Blade Runner soundtrack, the Kingdom of Heaven soundtrack, the Lord of the Rings soundtrack, the Star Wars soundtrack, the soundtrack of every single Hayao Miyazaki movie. Soundtracks are, I love soundtracks, and yeah. So that's a little rundown. Oh, my favorite band though. My favorite band at the moment. is a great dream pop band called Cigarettes After Sex. And don't be put by the name. They make some great music. They just released a new album, and it's amazing. I on my trip from Utah to and from Utah, that I just did, I was playing them constantly. I'm surprised my mom didn't get sick of them. So yeah, little rundown of my musical tastes. Number 7 is share your super secret ultimate guilty pleasure of anything. And I had to go with what first came to mind, and it's these Swiss rolls that you find in like every gas station or corner store in any town. They're so bad for you. Anything packaged is bad for you, but like when it has sugar, it's even worse. But I mean, I don't eat them very often. I don't eat them very often, and I just got home from doing several strenuous hikes in Canyonlands National Park, and I needed these to unwind, so I'm here eating them. So yeah, that's the tag, and all that's left is for me to tag some people. I'm going to tag Georgina at Georgina Reads. I'm going to tag Menicorn at The Bookish Land, and I'm going to tag For the Love of Classics. I'd love to hear more about all you guys. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. Goodbye.